Hello and welcome to the special conversation on Media Dialogues with Storyboard18, where we have Philipp Navratil, the global CEO of Nespresso, chatting with me. With coffee consumption on the rise and premiumization shaping the industry, Nespresso has been at the forefront of innovation and sustainability in the coffee business. As the company continues to expand its global footprint, we will explore the key trends, Nespresso's strategic direction, and the opportunities in the fast-growing markets like India. Philipp, thank you for joining us today.
Pleasure to be with you.
We're at the new store, your very first Nespresso store in India. But I want to zoom out at the start of this conversation, Philipp, and ask you a little bit about what are the major trends globally that are shaping the coffee industry, given, of course, all the digital transformation, the technology, the impetus on sustainability, and just a growing consciousness among consumers as well.
Absolutely.
So if you could just outline the big, broad trends that you see that are reshaping the business right now.
Look, globally, and then it applies to India as well. Globally, you see coffee is booming. It's a booming category and has become, from serving a cup of coffee to wake you up in the morning, it does so much more now. And actually, for the first time, we see coffee for stimulation purposes, that first cup in the morning to get you going, has been replaced by cups. We call it pleasure. So it's a need state. Why you drink a beverage is pleasure. And so coffee has become pleasurable, and in many different ways. So you see coffee becomes colder, becomes milkier, becomes sweeter. A lot of new young consumers come into coffee, and coffee has become more premiumized as well. So a lot of consumers, and that's where we play with Nespresso, a lot of consumers want to know more about coffee. They want to know what is in the cup, where is it coming from, how is it processed, how is it harvested, where does it come from, what happens after the bean is harvested, and all of those trends help a lot. And to that comes then also sustainability. So a lot of consumers are asking, where is it coming from? What does the coffee bean look like? What happens afterwards? How do you take care of farmers? How do you take care of the soil, the biodiversity, etc.? And those trends we pick up at Nespresso, and it's nothing new for us. It's basically we're now tapping into them here in India with this launch here. But these trends have been there since ever. And we have played in the premium coffee segment, catering great coffee experiences, great coffee taste to consumers, because we have been sustainable from the get-go, and we have been premium from the get-go. And so for us, it is actually a trend that we see with pleasure, that it's becoming bigger and more important. And we're tapping into that here today in India as well.
So these
are the trends.
So what I'm hearing is coffee is not just, of course, a beverage that you consume, but an experience that you can consume.
More and more is an experience. It's really about, it's a bit like wine, you can see, that came up as well. And coffee is even more complex than wine in terms of where it grows, how you can blend it together, mix it, how you can prepare it. There is so many facets to coffee, and consumers are eager to learn more, to become more experts. And it has been, there's maybe two things that are interesting, how that has been accelerated. One is social media, obviously. So you can see on TikTok, Instagram, etc., you see all of these people preparing fantastic recipes or visiting coffee origin countries. And so you get more information. And the other one is coffee shops. So coffee shops that serve coffee, so sell coffee. They have also been part of that trend that has given the consumer an experience to taste out of home. And it's not just a cup of coffee that wakes you up. And you see what coffee shops serve up. It's all kinds of creations, and that is coffee today. So it's a creative space, an innovative space, and it's a space that has a huge amount of premiumization in it as well.
It's interesting, the analogy with wine. Coffee is more complex than wine. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And of course, I like the point about how consumers of coffee want to be seen perhaps as experts, and that is maybe fueling more coffee trends and, of course, consumption.
Absolutely. I see that a lot. I mean, you want to, I don't call it show off, but you want to be part of that select few that know more about coffee. It's being able to talk a little bit about it, and it's really the same. It's an analogy with wine. It's conversation. You want to have a nice machine at home. It talks to who you are and what you like. So having an espresso machine at home is a statement. You like good quality coffee, and then if you can tell a story around the coffee and how it is harvested, where does it come from, the different blends, the different nuances, different recipes, etc. There is something that people like to know more, and it's an interesting topic as well. So people love to know more and love to prepare that same creation that might have seen on social media or a coffee shop at home, and play around with that coffee and have a moment for themselves or share with friends a great conversation over a cup of coffee.
How Nespresso is tapping into these trends.
Yes.
Of course, the creation of the experiences, product innovation. What are you focusing on right now? You took over last year as the global CEO. What were some of the top things on your agenda? Where are you, putting, investing more, perhaps?
Yeah, it's a good question. So look, the Nespresso experience from the very beginning was obsessed by great quality coffee, and was hence obsessed by sustainability, because one of the beliefs that are anchored very strongly at Nespresso and are strategic for us is we believe that we can only source the best quality coffee out there if it is grown sustainable. And growing sustainable coffee is knowing your farmers by name, knowing their families, their communities, knowing what is best for their terroir, what is best for their soils, for the biodiversity, and that is how we source coffee. So that will never change. So having great quality coffee, not only sourced to perfection, but also then roasted to perfection, ground to perfection, packaged to perfection. We have 3 factories in Switzerland that take care of that, and then we ship it into the countries we sell the coffee. So that will never change. And innovation will also never change. So that is obviously, all of these things are high on my agenda. Innovation, if you think about how Nespresso came about selling coffee, is direct to consumer from the very beginning.
True.
Basically, we were selling 40 years ago, we were selling machines on the phones, or there was no internet, there was no e-commerce, or phone.
D2C, the old school
D2C,
way.
old school phone. That obviously then morphed into e-commerce and full digital. And in the year 2000, we started with boutiques like the one we're sitting in today, where the vision was really bringing the full experience to consumer, where you can show, you can touch, you can smell, you can taste some creations, and you can really engage with the coffee specialist, the Nespresso coffee specialist, to get the whole experience, the story. But then
that knowledge aspect that you mentioned earlier.
The versatility, what is it, what can you do, what is coffee actually? And if you think about it, selling coffee in a boutique, and we got this question here today, is like, what are you doing? Are you selling, can I get a cappuccino here? No. You can buy the Nespresso experience here, and we'll tell you more about it once you come in here. You'll be onboarded, and we'll tell you what the experience is. And the experience is a personalized experience, direct to consumer. So that is something we're working on. So we want to become better, even more engaging when it comes to real personalization. So really knowing you as a consumer, what would you like based on your coffee purchases, and what you tell the coffee specialist. How can we engage better with you, and make you a better customer, and exploring more of our experiences globally. So digitalization, marketing, that is a big topic for us. And then look, innovation is obviously big on my agenda. That there is nothing wrong with what we have today, but coffee evolves very fast. So there's different nuances coming to life. There is a big trend now, for example, decaffeinated coffees, as people like to drink more coffees, but maybe don't want to have a caffeinated coffee. There's flavored coffee, there's functional coffee. So there's many trends that obviously we follow, and we want to tap into or even lead them, as we have led when we did direct to consumer, or we did boutiques, or we did portion coffees. We invented portion coffees. So that is the level of innovation that we see ourselves capable of delivering.
Coming to India, Philipp, tell me a little bit about the growth opportunities that you see here. We were speaking earlier about India traditionally being a tea market, but also a very strong coffee culture in certain regions.
Yes.
Of course, in the past decade, a lot has changed. Global brands, local homegrown specialty roasters, and a whole bunch of homegrown brands coming up as well. So what are the opportunities that you see here, especially now that Nespresso has entered with its first boutique, getting more aggressive on experiences? Of course, Nestlé had its other brands, but What are you seeing for Nespresso here?
Look, here in India, we're tapping into, first and foremost, a huge market. So that is a young market, a market that is ready to explore coffee. Mm-hmm. It's a tea market still, but the opportunity here is household penetration, as we call it in business jargon. So it's convincing more consumers to drink coffee. Mm-hmm. In home, out of home, it doesn't matter. It's making the pie of the coffee business larger in India, and the potential is massive. If we compare consumption levels here versus the US mm-hmm. or Europe, there's several factors that we see growth in India. So this is why it's an important market to just be present. Then the premiumization trend that we're talking about, more consumers wanting to know more, is exactly what I talked about before. We want to tap into that. We see it up and coming, and premiumization is there to stay. So there's obviously consumers that enter at all levels, mm-hmm. but you see there's a huge interest in just knowing more. And there's Indian coffee actually being grown in India. How can we bring this to life? How can I consume it at home? And we're tapping into this with opening our first boutique here today. And this is the first of more to come, mm-hmm. for sure. But bringing this premium experience to India for the first time is a huge step in the right direction for us, mm-hmm. because we believe there's a huge potential here to be present and be more present here.
Mm-hmm. A bit on the challenges that you foresee as well.
The challenges here, it's to see how much premiumization is possible in a market that is price conscious. Mm-hmm. But then again, as Nespresso, we obviously tap into the premium segment of the retail market, you can say. Because then again, what is an expensive coffee? If you think about, if you go to a coffee shop, how much a cup of coffee, cappuccino or an iced latte, whatever, sets you back in mm-hmm. terms of price. What we charge here for one capsule is much less than that. And mm-hmm. so, what is expensive and what is premium is relative to what you see coffee. And coffee goes from a few cents mm-hmm. For a cup all the way up to very expensive cups. So you can play this as you want. We tap into this premium segment. I think this is a large segment already in India. It'll grow. Mm-hmm. And as Nestlé, then we have the ability to play the full portfolio, from soluble coffee all the way to Nespresso in a market like India. Gives us unprecedented competitive mm-hmm. advantage to really tap into all of the consumer segments. But with Nespresso, we're tapping into the premium upper mm-hmm. Segment where people want this, beyond coffee, want this experience, want to know more, want to have a machine, want to be a little bit their own barista. Mm-hmm. And that is where we tap into.
Well said. Be their own barista. And it's the sensorial experience that you were talking Absolutely. About end to end, right? When we were talking about India earlier, and we also spoke about your time here in Bangalore, of course, we're seeing a lot of innovation come out of India. Have you thought of the India market as a sort of source of innovation, product innovation for you? Any insights that are coming out of maybe India or markets like India? Emerging markets like India that are feeding back into your strategies on product, on innovation?
No, absolutely. We do. We get inspired by coffee culture in general, and coffee culture is not such a thing as one coffee culture. So, for example, here there's a very specific coffee culture in southern India that mm-hmm. is only available there, and we will have to see how we tap into that taste segment more as Nespresso. But for example, if you take a green coffee, so we source green coffee in India since 2011, mm-hmm. where we have established our AAA sustainability program in Karnataka and work with today about 1,900 farmers on sustainability, on how to improve regenerative agricultural practices, how to improve their livelihoods in the farm. That has been a huge source of innovation. For example, one of those is monsoon coffee. Mm-hmm. So there's the way in India how coffee is processed after harvest. So basically, what happens is the coffee is harvested, is green coffee, and then it's put in warehouses where during monsoon you dry that coffee. Mm-hmm. And it sounds a bit counterintuitive during monsoon where there's humidity, you dry the coffee, but that is what's happening. So it gets moist with the rain and the humid winds, mm-hmm. and then gets dried during the day with the sun, and that happens several times over a month. And that creates a very special coffee that has spicy notes, that have leathery notes, that is very specific. And that is innovation. That is innovation that came to life here in India. And we take this coffee, we bring it back to Switzerland, and today 1/5 of our coffee recipes globally contain Indian coffee because of those fantastic notes that only that coffee can bring to life.
The complexity there.
Complexity, and so that is how we bring innovation in this case on farming practices, drying practices, post-harvest practices into coffees that then go globally. And that's a source of innovation, for example, that we use a lot.
Philipp, you briefly spoke about sort of digital transformation as well, and now more talk about AI. Any insight on what Nespresso is doing in this AI-driven digital transformation?
Yeah.
Any key points in that strategy for you?
Yeah, that is a good point. When I said, before we're direct to consumer, that is true. So we know who's buying from us. So we're direct to consumer company, and we at the same time direct to farmers. So we know our 150,000 farmers by name. So connecting those two worlds is what's at hand here, and that there is definitely a lot of digital opportunities. How do we connect those two even better? How do we connect to our consumer even better? How do we use AI to drive our planning processes, internal processes better, our marketing better, our product innovation better? So AI is at the heart of what we do, and this is evolving very fast. So we have today a team in Bangalore that supports us in getting programming and all of the engineering up to speed, and there's more to come there. So it's a space where we really feel that putting us seeing ourselves as a digital first company, a digital coffee company, or a digital company that sells coffee, that is what we should be and what we are and what we strive to, because we have always been digitalized, but we can connect this end to end even better and make the experience even better beyond the quality of our coffee.
Absolutely. There's of course an overwhelming amount of chatter on AI for a lot of people, but we're seeing remarkable speed in transformation.
Yes.
That's for sure.
Yeah, we're using it. Nestlé has been a company, we have adapted AI for employees very fast. So there was not sort of that's a risk. So let's see what we can do. And it's coming very fast. It's something that probably we have not seen or not understood fully what it could bring into the future. But we see already we apply AI when we see our machines that have AI processes to constantly improve and generate less losses. We have AI in our warehouses. So there is a lot of applications there. But I think the big thing is how do we connect all that and have a really fully data-powered company that sells coffee. And there's more to come. This is evolving as we speak. But then again, AI and digital is all good, but then, having a place like this, a physical place where you can touch and smell and taste the coffee is important. That is something that AI will not be able to take away. So we still need this human interaction where a coffee specialist and a consumer can interact over a cup of coffee.
Right.
That is the power of the Nespresso experience, I think, where really the magic comes to life. And AI will support that, obviously, and enhance whatever we can do, but it will never replace the human interaction that actually is so close to coffee. Over a cup of coffee, so many things can happen, so many conversations, so many connections can happen, and that is something that AI will hopefully never take over.
It absolutely cannot, and I think going forward, those experiences will only become more important and more precious.
Absolutely.
For consumers across the board. So, in a lot of my conversations, Philipp, with global CEOs. There is this, people are bullish about the India market, of course, the economy. It's, people are saying this is India's decade. Give me your view on India's decade.
Look, I think, I don't know if it's a decade or it's longer. I think there is massive potential.
Century.
It's probably a century. There is massive potential in India because this is an educated society, there's a young society. There is massive local potential, but also there's potential, as I said before, to export Indian innovation, and it's already happening abroad. For us, it is an untapped market, and I was asked before, why why now? Why have you waited so long? Why, finally you are in India. And for us, the time was right now because we're tapping into something that is there, but has not yet seen the full potential. So we're actually investing into this growth. I don't know if it's a century or a decade, but we're here for the long term. So we really, when we open this first boutique, it's not like we test the waters, and then we're here to stay. We're here to invest long term in India, not only in sustainability when we talk with farmers and we buy coffee, but also how we then serve Indian consumers. And I'm very bullish myself about India. I see a huge potential here. I also see India as an open economy, so welcoming economy. So it's not, it's easy to make business in a sense, and we can come here, and we have a very well-established Nestlé India company here.
Very strong.
That supports us, very strong brands. And we have grown with India for many years. And this is to follow. So for us, Nestlé is over 150, almost 160 years old. We're here for the very long term, and for us, a decade is many decades and a century. So we will stay here forever.
I won't ask you your decadal plans, but what can we expect in, say, 12 months from now from Nespresso? Where do you want? What are the targets you've set for the market here?
For here in India? Look, I cannot give you any number of boutiques or sales numbers because I don't know. What I know is there, and I say that not lightly, but it's got to be more than this one boutique. So that's for sure. That I can guarantee that. And that the Indian market will be accretive to overall Nespresso sales for sure, in terms of growth. That's for sure. Now, I would lie to you if I give you any number of boutiques or any sales numbers that would come out of here. As I said, we'll have to see how Indian consumers react to that. How many flock into this fantastic boutique here. How we interact, how we then also localize our marketing, etc. So this is a journey, a long-term journey, and it's not a short-term plan. This is really something that maybe myself as a CEO, I'll never see in its full splendor. But we're putting a stone here on the ground in India with Nespresso today for future growth for the next generation of CEOs and next generation of Nespresso employees and Nespresso customers today. If you think about it statistically, what might be the future, and I don't know how many years it will take, India will be a very large coffee market, and it's going to be hence a very large market for Nespresso. But that takes time. That takes effort to build it. It's not an easy market to cater to. India, it's not, we come and then we put a brand on top of the door and that's it. So we need to work it. We need to engage with consumers. We need to make sure Indian consumers love the brand. They understand the brand. That takes time. And as I said, we're here for the long term. So, but I'm sure that the next generations will see India as a massive opportunity. It's the largest country in terms of population. There's no reason why India cannot become at some stage the largest coffee market in the world. And I think that's possible.
Absolutely. And I think that's a great note to end our conversation on, Philipp. Together you're stronger. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.